This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show. And of course, for probably the very first time, I've had three people sitting at the desk with me. Usually we two, myself and used to be Andrew for years, and then Matt LeBlanc since the first of this year, 2015. And today we have two guests, and this all kind of started with Charlie and I talking about the early voting. And he says, you know, would you mind if I came and brought the sheriff, and we'll talk a little bit about the election that's taking place in St. Landry Parish, and of course throughout the state of Louisiana, and particularly in our neighboring parish of Lafayette. There's a lot of very contested races. Right. St. Landry Parish, the two people that own the program today, they got a free ride. I call it a free ride. and I guess that's kind of one of the reasons. But Charlie, since you started this asking me about the possibility and me okay, and you want to tell me a little bit of about what's taking place?
Well, we have a major election in St. Landry Parish. Fortunately for me and for Bobby and Ron Dupre, the assessor, and Bill Faulkner, the parish president, we weren't opposed. However, there's a representatives race and a really important senator's race in the parish, too. The election's on October the 24th. Early voting begins 10 days before that, and you don't have to have an excuse to early vote anymore. It's not like absentee was. And I think you're going to cover the mail-in ballots.
On the next portion,
right.
Probably I'm going to wait till the next portion to talk about the mail-in ballots, which is very important. And of course, that also takes in, is that the same that takes in the people at the nursing homes? I know.
Correct.
Those people, in many, many cases, they want to vote.
Right.
They're in good enough shape. I know Mama was in a nursing home, and she was certainly still, and then she was in assisted living before that. And those are the kind of people that can get, and then you've got your college students, you've got your people in the military. Lots of people use the mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that on the second or third portion of the Bobby Dupre Show.
And Shirley Milburn, the registrar, is going to go to all of those nursing homes and pick up those and get the ballots from them and allow them all to vote. So they do it at the nursing home.
At the nursing home. Good, good. Sheriff, how many terms does this make you unopposed, of course, this time? This will make how many?
This will be my third term.
Third term?
Yes, and very humbled by the fact that I don't have opposition. And I want to say I appreciate the support and, of course, the encouragement from people. We've had a lot of things going on the past year. Of course, as you know, we moved into our new complex. We've had some good and bad things happen. Of course, the Sunset incident where a police officer was shot is one of the bad things that occurred. But all around, we're doing good. We have a phase 3 for our complex. We're going to eventually move our fleet operations from where it is on West Landry Street in town to our new complex, and then eventually the civil department, which is housed in the courthouse. So we've got a lot of things this next term that we're going to hopefully accomplish, and we're looking forward to the next 4 years.
Good. You sat right here. You and I, your first election that you got elected, it was a close election. We had to do some pleading with our friends to go out and vote, and I'm still happy that I did that. And unfortunately, you and I were not on the same team for the district attorney's race, but here we are on the same team again, pulling for St. Landry and Acadiana.
Absolutely.
When I speak, I'm talking to people throughout the world because this is on the internet. So no matter where you are, you can reach the Bobby Dupre Show, and it's a lot of fun. And I had mentioned to Charlie, if we were going to do this little talk, we needed to do it pretty soon because I'm planning on retiring, if you want to call it, from the programming. It'll make me 40 years.
Wow.
Hopefully the people will agree that I've been here every week, practically every week, which tells me that God's been good to me, providing good health to be here every week and to be able to spend the time that it takes to get all this material. A lot of it won't be used today, very little, because of factors like this.
But people don't realize the work that you go through during the week to get it all lined up.
And attend functions like the Hazelwood project last week. I went by and got to meet a man I had never met before, Mr. Bob Edmondson. Heard a lot about the Edmondson family. His father had bought a number of acres, I guess a few thousand acres, I'm not sure how many.
Oh, yeah.
But didn't just sit on it. Bobcat was started, but I'll get into that one on the next program. But those are good things. Of course, you had another bad thing that happened in Eunice. I know that's within a city limit, but the mother that killed her 2 children.
Very unfortunate incident, yes. And the mother that killed herself and her children, her brother is a deputy in my department.
Wow.
A fine man, good deputy. He's going through a lot right now with that tragedy, and of course our prayers are with him and his family.
And I noticed that she had purchased a pistol about 9 or 10 days prior to the incident, so she was planning this. This was not a spur of the moment.
It appears that way, yes.
Yeah, because she had gone and bought 50 rounds of ammunition.
Yeah. Wow.
So those are kind of the bad things. Clerk of court, what about registration fees? That's how you make your revenues.
Yeah, Bobby, we operate on the fees that we take in for lawsuits and filing documents and acts of sale and things like that, and we make money selling the copies of those too. So it's kind of tough. We learned to operate on a new atmosphere, an atmosphere of less money than we had before.
The oil industry going down and less drilling and leasing, that's...
Right, because leases were filed with my office, and that was a major source of income.
Right, and there's still some, I'm sure.
There's some, but I think we had talked about that when oil goes up and down and the activity goes up and down with it, so we're looking forward to when they go back up and release.
Releasing.
I can say this because Charlie didn't have any opposition, and I don't have a motive in saying it, but I'm just amazed at what Charlie and his staff have done with hardly any money to upgrade and computerize that clerk of court's office the way it is. I'm a history buff, and I love to go in and talk to his people in the historical.
Is Mr. Fontenot still there?
No, he retired.
He retired.
Yeah, he was pretty.
People knew him all over the United States.
Oh, yeah.
They would come down to, because we stored records in St. Landry Parish and the St. Landry Catholic Church.
Right.
That took care of, what, 6 or 8 parishes all the way to the Sabine River.
Exactly.
At one time.
When Lake Charles
Texas
Courthouse
border.
burned down, we had their records.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's and that's one of our sources of income too, the archives, and that's why we're trying to digitize them and put them online and stuff like, and sell access to them.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about selling a piece of property, and Jim Lopez asked me if I had the papers on it. I said, no, I don't. He said, it's okay. I'll just it gets on the computer and goes right into the attorney's.
Speeds everything up.
Yeah, just right in their office today. So it saves a lot of money, and it generates money for you.
Yeah, time is money, and especially in business.
You're talking about the Hazelwood project. That's going to generate some $400 million in operational monies. And I think you mentioned $20+ million would come to St. Landry Parish coffers in taxes. So that's a big plus for the parish government, for, of course, me, the sheriff, and having ad valorem taxes. And so that's going to increase our budget and give us more money.
Well, then I'm thinking about those 2 cars you leave parked out there. I don't think they're parked right now. There's not much going on, but you know, as soon as that project starts, they're going to have those big trucks in and out of there.
Absolutely.
You're going to have your 2 vehicles out there, and I'm sure they have to pay a handsome price.
Off-duty deputies, plus they pay the fuel for the vehicle, the use of the vehicle, and that's just one other way of how the deputies make extra money on their days off. So it's a big plus for us.
Besides ticketing people like me. And
we're not ticketing now. We're just stopping the traffic there.
No, but I'm talking about on the other roads.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's for another day.
Got to keep people safe, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, like Bob,
including Charlie.
Well,
we're not going there.
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
That's another story.
Yeah,
the people that know you well know your record. He likes to drive.
But like the sheriff said, there's a lot of things going on in the parish, and one of the major things that we got to look at now is this upcoming election. And I know Bobby's supported Ledrika theory as a senator, and she's done a lot of
and
good
a state representative.
I
I found some old records using some of the ads that I had done, you know, handouts. Just had to change the date and the time. I'm doing the same thing for her this time that I did the first time she was elected. She's actually was elected in a midterm, like, because of I guess that's when probably
I think Albert Gilroy switched to the Senate. To
the Senate when Donald Cravens Jr. took the job with Mary Landrieu in midterm. He ran, and that left the opening when he won that race. Albert Lee became the senator. Then that opened, and Ledrika ran for it, and we worked hard for it then, and working just as hard now. So, I know you were there when she announced her re-election, or election for that race.
For that, yes.
At the Appaloosa Civic Center.
Correct.
You were there and endorsed her that day. What you feel? Do you still feel comfortable backing her?
Ledrika theory is a very smart individual. She's got the experience from the House side. She's going to go in, hopefully, I'm not going to say it's going to be a walk-in, but she's working very hard. Her supporters are working very hard. I think she's going to win this race.
Well, I certainly hope so, because experience is going to be more important this particular session coming up than it's ever been in probably our lifetime.
Absolutely.
Because our present governor, who I supported, so I can say a little bit, I supported him with money and otherwise. And he has left us. This last 4 years, he literally has not been able to do what he's doing in these other states way up on the Northeast and run the state himself. He's just, even when he's in the state, he's planning big events in these other states that where he's been
Bobby,
more or less living.
I'm going to make a little joke, but I call him Buddy Jingle, you know. Every family's got one like that talk too fast. But he really has sacrificed Louisiana on the altar of his ambition. And I mean, I think everybody will agree with that.
And it's over with. I mean, that's done. And we've got 4 good candidates running for governor. I think any one of those 4, but they are going to really have a problem. But the real problem is faced by the state senators and state representatives. They're the ones that have to put that vote, and they get that criticism, because they're going to have to raise some money some kind of way. I don't know how, and I hope it's not hurting any one group, any individuals, any big, large companies. We don't want to hurt anybody, but the mathematics says that we can't keep playing that game, that shell game that's been played in the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, you're right, Bob.
We cannot do that.
You're right. We have to raise revenue.
We're going to have to. And I think that sending somebody like Ledrika, she's going to be able to make some good decisions, because she knows what the people want and don't want. She knows what the companies, she's going to be representing St. Landry Parish, most of St. Landry, a good portion of the north part of Lafayette Parish, and the Brobridge area in St. Martin Parish. So she's got a big territory, but I think she's going to be qualified to do a good job. That's why I'm endorsing her. And I'm asking my friends that even if you live, please, if you live in Lafayette Parish, we really need your support. But I don't think you're going to be, I think you're going to get good representation, and I think she's going to represent us all in such a way. Mr. Jack Montesset came to our little sweet talk gathering we had Sunday afternoon at Sonia's Donuts, and he was representing, we had invited all the candidates that wanted to come and speak, they could, and he was representing John Bell Edwards. And he sits right near Ledrika in the state legislature. And look, he had some strong words defending her and how she's on top of things. And once she gives you her word that she's voting on an issue, you can go look for some other votes. She's not changing her vote. And that's so important. And you hear so many stories about some of these people that you never know until they're not sure when they're going to go and pull the lever on the vote. Anyhow.
But I know she's helped my office, Bobby's office, and she's helped the parish. So I'm endorsing her too.
Well, good.
Oh yeah.
Good to hear. I hadn't asked you that.
I really have to
appreciate
because
that.
she's that good a candidate.
I endorse Ladrika theory.
Great.
Wholeheartedly.
Well, our 15 minutes is up. We could go 30, but we have 15 minutes. And I just want to thank you, Sheriff, for coming here. Charlie, for
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Just thinking about this and letting the people know our friends, your constituents, my longtime friends, my customers, still got businesses, business interests in the parish and other parishes nearby. And I just want to thank all of y'all. And I think I can speak for all of us, the three of us here. Thank God with the health we have, and thank God that your health has improved.
Well, it's pretty good. Thank you.
We'll be back in 1 minute. Good morning. This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And I'm back to my normal sidekick here on the program, Matt LeBlanc, and of course Dylan Guillory in the tech room. And for the first time, we started a program with guest.
That's right.
And 2 guests. I've never had 2 guests sitting up at one time. Didn't realize how easy it was to work it out.
Yeah, sure.
And I thought we'd had to have one of us standing up or something like that.
Make them sit, make it easy.
And I think it worked out good. And who I'm speaking about, of course, is the Sheriff of St. Landry Parish, Bobby Guitros. And he thanked everybody for the support they gave him. And he had no opposition for the next term, so he got 4 more years. And he hopes to sort of complete his complex goal of moving the repair shop and the service center and everything for the fleet of automobiles that they have. And that, he says, will be handled when the money's there to pay for it.
Right.
He had the money and paid all the bills. There was no borrowing or anything on the first complex. And that's good management of the funds.
Very good management.
Very good management.
Horse has to come before the court.
That's correct. And then we had Charlie Jagno, and of course, Charlie's been there, did he say 6? I think 6 terms.
Really?
6 terms.
It's been a while.
And the sheriff is this will be his third term.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the visit. Charlie had talked to me about it. You know, there's a lot of people that are not familiar with the new voting possibilities. In the past, we used to call it absentee ballot, and you had to kind of fudge and say you were going to be out of the parish. Now it's early voting.
Right.
And
so it's open up to everybody. It's
open up to everybody. You don't have to have an excuse. It's to try to get a higher percentage of people to participate in elections. It's a shame that more people, the percentage is not higher than it is. But then also, we have, we can maybe talk about the ballots. They also have
got a prop.
Mail-in. And we have a prop, and we have it on the screen there. And I'll just talk through it real quick. Do not detach the flap from the affidavit. When you're going to be mailed to your home, you call in the registrar of voters in any parish in Louisiana, any parish, and they'll send you a mail-in if you have a reason. Maybe you're in a nursing home, maybe you're at home and you can't move around like you used to. Maybe you're at college like Megan is. Maybe you're in the armed forces. You might be in Germany, or you might be in Afghanistan or Iraq. But you want to vote. They can mail you a ballot, and this is what it's going to look like right here with what you see in front of you. And it's basically the yellow parts. You follow those rules, and it gets very easy. You can also have somebody to acknowledge that they gave you assistance, not who to vote for, but assistance in filling it out properly.
Right.
And if you do everything yourself, you still have to have a witness. Either way, you have to have a witness. And you can see it on television there. Yeah, I was kind of putting it in the front of the, but it's rather simple, but take it step by step. Do it just step by step. And if you have any problems, well, call the Registrar of Voters office, and I'm sure they can help you over the telephone. And of course, the nursing homes, they actually go to the nursing homes, is what I understand. And they send personnel from the Registrar of Voters office to assist those that want to vote.
Right.
So again, it's a method to do it in an honest way, and at the same time giving people that privilege. You know, voting, when I became 18, I went to register so I could vote. Don't think I've ever missed an election since. Quite sure I didn't. And it's just something that if I have to ever go to a nursing home, I'm going to want to, and if I'm going to want to vote again. So it's good that these methods have evolved over a period of time, and they all properly, after you get through, you take the flap, you seal it, you put it in an envelope, and you mail it back to them. So it's all well planned, and appreciate that Charlie gave us this chart and all. And I enjoyed my 15 minutes with him. We also talked about the big project at Port Barre, and that's the Hazelwood Energy Project.
Right.
And they had a big announcement must have been last Wednesday, at the parish government's Delta Grand downtown. Hadn't been in there for a big function, but it's really, really nice.
Yes.
I had been in it, but never for quite that. They even had hired a band. Gino was there, and had music after the presentation. And I got to meet a number of people that either I had not seen in a while or I had never met. And if we'll show a few pictures, this is a picture that the person that's looking straight at me here, right here, that's Chris John. Chris John, of course, hails from right there in Crowley. Very personable young man. He now works for the oil and gas industry and does a bang-up job, a real good job. Glad to have you as a friend. And of course, this is Ladrika, who in the first segment, all three of us, the sheriff, Charlie Jagno, the clerk, and myself, have endorsed you, Ladrika. And this is her aide that's available, I call it 24 hours a day, and Christina Edwards, very capable, lovely young lady, and does a good job for her. And this is longtime friends here. On the right is Malcolm Mesh, and his wife is Janice Stanford Gitros Mesh now. And I'm putting the Gitros in there, Janice, because her son, of course, is Andrew, who sat where you're sitting for years.
Yep.
And have been knowing, of course, both Malcolm and Janice literally all my adult life. And these were young ladies that were hired to take care of the bartendering. And this is on the right is Warner Vayon, major stockholder in Tri-Parish Bank, along with the title of, used to be president, probably chairman of the board today. He slowed down some. And Randall Vijay, who is with, last time I knew it, Basile State Bank. And this is my cousin here on the right, Mike Dupre, and his wife. And she says, did he say cousin? I said, we always call us. That's the first time I'd ever saw his wife, met his wife. And I said, we always call each other cousin. And Mike, of course, hails from Eunice. And this is a gentleman on the right that I had never met, heard a lot about the Edmondson family and their ownership of property in the Hazelwood community there. I call it the Hazelwood community. And of course, Judge Jim Daugherty is on the left, and he is a personal friend of Bob Edmondson. And Bob Edmondson's father had purchased quite a number of acres, and I didn't realize it, but Bobcat was named after Bob. He started Bobcat Energy, which is a big storage facility for natural gas. And what this project, Hazelwood Energy Hub, it'll be known for, it'll be for storage of oil products. So it's a brand new entity, and it's going to extend all the way to Krotz Springs, where they're going to have a blending plant. And it's just Christmas in October. Well, I guess it was still maybe September that day. But on the left, of course, is Doug Jensen, and Doug and his wife are in another picture. But Doug owns the large pipe company, Coastal Pipe, at the I-49 exit with Karen Crow. And that's his wife in the blue. And on the left, of course, is the president of Sunset Bank, Brent Vidrine. Lots of people. Hadn't seen Kim Fontenot in quite a while. Kim kind of giving a friendly hug to Lynn Lejeune, who is the chamber president. And another Kim again in this picture on the right. And next to Kim is Gary Swallow from Krotz Springs, and of course he's president of the Port of Krotz Springs. Mike Thibodeau, former mayor, now a lobbyist, in the back, kind of the back end, and all the way on the left is Pat Fontenot, who of course is president of Williams Life Insurance Company in Opelousas, and also activist is what they call a person that's very interested in the community, which Pat is. And all of those
Talked to Pat last night.
And there's Charlie Jagneau and Pat. Charlie was just on the first segment of the Bobby Dupre Show. Good morning to all of you. And this picture here is we're moving forward. Is the logo that SLED group is using. And SLED is led by Bill Roder on the right. And of course in the center is Mr. Bob Edmondson again. And on the left is our St. Landry Parish president, Bill Fontenot, my cousin. We always call each other cousin. It's a little distant, but in the country, it's cousin. And everything's working good. We have, that's Gino. I told y'all the band was there. This was towards the end. The Palace Cafe had some delicious gumbo. I mean, that's what they were serving right here. All the foods, all the local caterers were hired, and they brought in a little sample of what, I guess, one of their best that they're known for. Most restaurants get known for one or two items, or maybe half a dozen if you're big time.
Well, great. Well, you know what?
Takes care of the pictures on the... that segment?
That's that segment, yeah. And before we go to break, we got to go to a break in a second here, but I want to tell you a little bit about Dixie Storage, some good friends of ours in Port Barre. If you need storage, go see them over at Dixie Storage. They can help you out. Over 1 million square feet of storage combined. You can see their website right there is www.dixiestorage.com.
What about the homestead? Could you
I'm going to get to that right next here. We're going to pull up Carl's Thrifty Way, and we want to tell you if you need any kind of prescriptions filled, go see them over at Carl's Thrifty Way on 2961 South Union, Opelousas, or give them a call at 948-7900. Make sure you visit their gift shop while you're there. All kinds of items for your personal shopping there. Also, last night, if you hadn't gotten to see it, actually it would be night before last because we're pre-taping the annual Opelousas Rotary Club auction, and you'd have seen Mr. Kip Bertrand up there as one of the hosts. And Kip, of course, is with St. Landry Homestead, and they're located in Opelousas, Eunice, and they've got a new location coming in Port Barre, and I went and looked at the site. It's going to be a nice area for them.
Picturesque
very,
site.
very nice site.
It it's going to be a good addition to the
It
community.
sure will.
Now, they already have an office in Port Barron.
Right, but they're going to have a whole brand new building, and they're going to
operation.
be bringing you their personal banking, business banking, and their e-banking solutions for you. So check them out online, stlandryhomestead.com. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
Welcome to the third segment of the Bobby Dupre Show. We do it in 4 quarters, and we kind of fell behind just a little bit, but not too bad. Not too bad considering we had some talent that came on today with me. The sheriff and the clerk of court in St. Landry Parish, and that was interesting, and might do a little bit more of that type of programming.
Sure.
Especially now that I see that we can put 3 of us up here at one time. I can, you know, take care of some of the locals. We get somebody from Lafayette maybe to come in and discuss some event taking place. Maybe Dr. Savoy with UL could come in and give us enrollments and what's their, you know, proposal for the future and how the money situation is coming along, and you know, a lot going on in any community that has a university. Like we are very fortunate right here.
Lafayette's quite hopping.
That's correct. Okay, we're going to do a few pictures first. You want to do which one you want to do first?
There you go, right up there. It looks Sonia's Donuts.
Oh, that's okay. That was Sweet Talk held Sunday over at Sonia's Donuts. And Sonia's Donuts, just to bring you up to date, is located right next to Stage. And by the way, I want to compliment Stage for the compliments I'm hearing. I'm going to go in and take a picture and talk to Joe Robertson, the manager. If he'd like for me to, I'd like to show some of the inside. I understand it's beautiful in there. It's completely renovated.
My wife goes there a lot.
And hearing nothing but good things, Joe and staff over there. And anyhow, these are some people. This was held from 4 to 6 this past Sunday. Beautiful weather, a little windy, a little bit chilly, but everybody had the proper clothing on, and there you go, just sitting down. That's Sonia.
He swears
that's Jonathan.
about 20 degrees below zero out there, huh?
And it's probably
South
17.
Louisiana, it drops 10 degrees, and we're heading for the hills.
And Joe and Christina and oh, this is Polly. Polly from Port Barry. She's one of the city councilwomen in Port Barry.
Polly Pickney.
And Polly Pickney. And this is her, was her school teacher when she was in school, Miss Hazel Sias. And I said, what about her? And she did this. She just did her fingers moving, talked a lot. I said, well, I was accused of the same thing by my teachers. I talked a lot, still talking a whole lot. And she is too, and beautiful people, both of them. Thank y'all for the help y'all giving her, giving Ladrika. This was held in honor of Ladrika, and we had invited, I mentioned earlier, we had invited other candidates to come. This is a candidate for House of Representative, District 40, the seat that is being vacated by Ladrika. And Reverend Ford on the right, one of our host committee
and that was Donovan Hudson, son of Doc Hudson.
Doc Hudson. And then these are friends here. The Babineaus on the right. And
well, you're dropping all those pins today,
all my pins. And Cal on the right, and we'll have to move them along. Just want to thank all of y'all so much for coming over there. There's Jack Montesette. I mentioned that he had come to speak on behalf of governor's candidacy of John Bell Edwards, a Democrat. And this is Alton, better known as Bruce Broussard, the barber. And Chad, and all the way on the right is Bambi Palazola. She's with the Democratic St. Landry Parish group. And next to her, if I'm not mistaken, that's Raymond Dupre.
Yeah.
And Joe and Ladrika. And we've got a few pictures where that's when Jack Montesette spoke on behalf of John Bell Edwards. He spoke very high about Ladrika, and they sit right near each other in the legislature, and he says she does a bang-up job, very truthful and honest. And just friends there. We had those pictures earlier. She's giving a little talk here. Nobody talked too long. We didn't let them talk too long to get the people out that cold air. And my cousin, and I guess that's Donovan again. Mm-hmm. And Polly again. You can't go anywhere and not find Polly. Yeah. When and then that's the chief of police and his lovely wife in the center. I complimented. I said, well, he's getting you out now that I broke the ice, and said that he had been keeping you back. And of course, I was just picking. And Chief doing a good job for Opelousas.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Chief, for attending. And we're breaking everything, the chairs and tables and everything, and bring them back to the Bobby Dupre outdoor kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And
getting ready for the next event, huh?
Getting ready for the next event.
There you go. Well, you know what? While we got a little pause right here, let's talk about some of our good sponsors. We want to remind you about the Quarters Casino and Travel Plaza, just north of Opelousas on I-49, exit 23. You can go see Quarters, of course, while you're there, and get some good Chevron fuel. Check out El Pico de Gallo Authentic Mexican Restaurant. They also have a Subway there and a Hunt Brothers Pizza. And, of course, all of the video poker machines that you could possibly need. Quarters Casino and Travel Plaza, located on I-49. Visit them online at quarterscasino.com. Bobby, you disappeared on me. Then we got the Steamboat Warehouse Restaurant. I want to tell you about Chef Jason Hugay over at the Steamboat Warehouse Restaurant in Washington. Right there, picture's worth 1,000 words. You can see all of the food that Chef Jason Hugay prepares. Absolutely delicacies. Does a wonderful job there, and it's a great ambiance for you. SteamboatWarehouse.com. Check them out online. And, of course, moving over to Piggly Wiggly on the north side of Opelousas. Check out their website at gotothepig.com, and you can see all of their specials right there. You got some quality fresh meats, and you click on their weekly ads, and you can see the specials that they've got for you loading up right there. You can view the ads by the page, just like they send them to you in the mailbox. But you don't have to wait for them in the mail. Get them online. Gotothepig.com. Check out their other location on Heather Drive. That's Cash Savers Grocery for some really good deals.
Good crowds, big business. Certainly was a good idea.
Yes, it
Kevin.
was.
Keep up the good work, buddy.
All right, and back to you.
Okay, we are going to be, going to a break or not yet?
No, we got some pictures to show.
Okay, well, we have some more pictures. That's
sunset, yeah.
Yeah, that's a sunset, completely different. I never.
It almost looks like a sunrise.
Yeah, but it's a sunset, just completely different from every day. They're different. City of New Orleans, paying a little, I don't know, some kind of little ticket.
Photo safety.
Yeah. Yeah, photo. That's right. It's one of those photo jobs. Well, I wasn't driving that vehicle, but I'm not going to say who was. But anyhow, she's in college in New Orleans, so I guess those kind of things.
Oh, well, yeah,
expected.
I have those myself.
Okay, this is a comedy show auction. It'll take place October the 23rd, and these young ladies and there's one young man in the back of the picture here is the Washington Garden Club members, very active group. They're going to hold a comedy show, and the Cajun comedian will be none other than Murray Conk.
Murray Conk, funny guy.
Funny guy. Murray, keep up the good work. You've been very fortunate to keep your good health and all of your good fun, bringing good fun to any community that you visit. Mm-hmm. And then right after the show, there's going to be an auction, and all of this is going to take place October the 23rd at St. John's Episcopal Church. That was the church building that was donated to the Washington Garden Club several years back. Okay, and then Equine Sales Company is holding their 2015 open yearling and mixed sale on Sunday, October the 25th. The auction begins at 10 a.m. And I saw the book with the horses, and I'll tell you what, there's a real good selection of both mature horses and, of course, yearlings. And these are the Lestrap twin sisters. You know, when you read into enough books, this particular is the Acadiana, Catholic Acadiana. And very good, well-written book. I don't know that, I'm sure I've had copies of it before, but when I saw this article here at 93, the identical New Orleans twin Lestrap sisters celebrate 75 years of being nuns. And of course, growing up in Opelousas, I guess that's what got my attention, the youngest of 12 children. Can you imagine what they went through back 93 years ago, how things were terrible back in those days? And of course, they're celebrating 75 years. They've been together most of those years as much as they could. They tried to be near each other. And of course, they're in the same nursing home now. They recently moved into a new facility there in New Orleans. And just a very good article. If you have a copy of that, I'm sure in the back of the church that you attend Catholic church, there's probably copies. You can get yourself a copy and read that yourself. Twins, identical twins, according to the
story. Nice story.
Very.
And speaking of Catholic, we want to, I want to mention this. We have an event coming up, Proclaim Catholic Missions Conference. That's going to be on October 24th, and it's going to be from 8:30 to 9 p.m. in Lafayette at the Ramada Lafayette Conference Center. That's on Northeast Evangeline Thruway in Lafayette, and that is put on by the Catholic Missions Conference. General admission is $95. Married couple is $185. It's going to have Bishop Father Nathan O'Halloran, Ralph Pollo, Peter Herbeck, John Listy as some of the speakers. So register at proclaim2015.com. Get some more information right there.
Okay, Angola bus ride. Last week I mentioned to you that I was interested in this article because we had done some work, helped build chapels in different prisons in Louisiana. In fact, I think all the prisons have now had the opportunity to have a mission, a chapel built in each one. And Angola bus ride, rodeo seats are still available. And Opelousas Alderman Tyrone Glover's Foundation is organizing this free ride. And they're offering this to young men ages 5 to 17. They're trying to show you that there's some nice rodeoing that goes on in the month of October. That's true. But there's also showing you what if you get out of hand and you get a felony charge against you, it's a good chance you're going to end up there. So hopefully this trip here will be an eye-opener to everybody, and even the older people that chaperones want to also take advantage. I did bring my little check over to Tyrone's office. He has channel a radio station 92.9 in Opelousas. It's a low-powered local radio station. Clarissa was a young lady who was there on duty. It's run by volunteer help, and they do a nice job. They have different programming per hour. And then we want to remind you that the annual Squirrel Cook-Off is the 16th annual St. Hubert's Benevolent Society. It'll be Saturday, October 17th, and that's over at Willie's Campground. And I sent my check in yesterday to help the family of Ernest Landry. Ernest, well known, I call him a character from Port Barre area, Joe Fred's brother-in-law. And I talked to Joe yesterday and told him that I had sent my check in to actually to Joe's address. So if you can't attend, send them a check, please. Ernest has helped a lot of people over the years. Now it's time for us to help his family. That's how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to help each other's family in time of need.
Very good. Look, we're going to have to take a break here in a second, but we got 2 pictures left from your stuff. So let's go ahead and get through those right now, and then we'll come back in 1 minute after these.
A time for remembrance, and this was held, I think this was last Friday over in Sunset, Louisiana. They were in honor of the deaths of Mr. Nelson, who was the policeman that got murdered, and also for Shamika Johnson, who is a sister to the mayor of Grand Coteau, Shatterell Johnson. And it was Shatterell's birthday, and they let balloons go up, gas-filled balloons go up. Very touching. And they're gonna be well remembered because Shatterell is just such a loving person around that area, and now that she's mayor, she'll influence, hopefully, other people to be generous with their time and the energy. Our deepest sympathy on those deaths that took place. And this is they ask people if they remembered the Clover Farm Creamery. Well, Clover Farm Creamery would deliver milk to your door. And this is not a Clover Farm truck, but that's similar to what the Clover Farm milkman looked like truck from Opelousas, Louisiana. The Burtnose and Fakuris.
There you go. Well, look, we got to take a quick 1 minute break. We'll be right back to finish out the show.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and it's going to kind of be an abbreviated fourth quarter. We kind of went over the last one, and well, the first one went over about a minute or so.
Yeah, it just adds up.
But
That's
you know,
always play catch up.
It's still going to be 1 hour, Bobby.
That's right.
It's still a 1 hour show, and I have mentioned in recent past that I am contemplating, boy, that's a big word for a boy from Plaisance, ending the Bobby Dupre Show sometimes around the end of the year, by the 15th of January. That'll be 40 years of visiting with you at your home, in your vehicles, your camps, wherever you might be today on the internet. Friends across the world that I mention, and when I talk to them later on, they're still occasionally at least watching the Bobby Dupre Show to find out if, I guess, if I'm still healthy and everything else, you know, because it shows a lot about your health and all. You don't have to tell them that you're healthy when you're moving around like you. I went in the cellar to get a pen a while ago. That's Dylan is something else. After the program was taped for about 16 minutes on the interview that I had with the sheriff and the clerk of court in St. Landry Parish, Bobby Guitro and Charlie Jagno, when you walked up and sat down and all, he said, by the way, he says, I didn't tape that first quarter, didn't. He's pretty frisky, pretty sharp.
Yeah,
Is he learning pretty good?
No, he's doing a great job.
Doing a good job.
Doing a great job.
The reason I'm asking, because I know that I can tell, he's in, you know, he's come along a long ways in just a short period of time.
That's
really.
right. No, he's doing a really good job, You know who else does a good job too in the community is LHC Group. LHC Group, you can visit them online at lhcgroup.com to find out about all of their services that they offer. But right here in Opelousas on Heather Drive, you can find their Louisiana Hospice and Palliative Care office. And of course, for all your hospice needs, you can see them right there. And of course, Paula Mills would probably be one of the ones that you talk to there. She kind of heads that up. So visit them online, lhcgroup.com, learn about all their services. It's all about helping people. LHC Group, Louisiana Healthcare Group. And we want to tell you about Targill Seasoning. Targill Seasoning, of course, for any kind of kitchen cutlery, kitchen supply needs that you would need. You can go visit them over on Wartell Avenue and check out the showroom. Buy your pots, pans, knives, cutlery, cutting boards, things like that. Commercial quality. They got the good stuff. And I've been threatening, I need to go down there and get a new cutting board. And that's what I need. And I know they're going to have a good one there because I need a good size one, you know. Anyways, Targill, you can visit them.
Sounds like the wife makes you cook a lot.
I like to cook.
Oh, you like? Okay, all right.
I like to cook outside.
I'm sorry I accused you.
And just about every seasoning I use comes from Targill. I try all kinds of different ones, but if you look on the side of there, I'm packaged at Targill.
Yep.
So, of course, if you want to have your own seasoning done, give them a call over there at Targill, 229 Wartell Avenue in Opelousas.
Brian, you're a first annual Vest for Life fundraiser will be held for St. Landry law enforcement, first responders, and the community, supplying vests, equipment, counseling, and spiritual guidance. And this is VFL, vest, and we're talking about the protective vest that basically law enforcement agencies are furnished with them, and not all the agencies have them yet. And Beverly Stelly from Ornerville and her sister Lisa and other friends have decided to put this first annual Vest for Life fundraiser. This will take place Saturday, October 10th, and it's going to be held at the Yambali Festival Building at 1939 West Lander Street, and it's a gumbo cook-off, so you know.
There you go.
And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 well-known Zydeco bands that's going to be playing live entertainment, so it's going to be a fun day, and it's at the same time, it's going to be raising money for a very, very good cause. Our protection for our responders.
That is a very good cause. And
Beverly, I hope that you all have a good one, and that is this Saturday, October the 10th, Yambali Festival Building. Okay, and right here in the Lafayette area, Daniel Cormier, who is MMA champion, put his championship belt on the line this past Saturday night, and he outpointed Gustafsson to retain his UFC title. When you have one of these UFC titles, you're starting to talk about making some big bucks.
Yeah.
And he hails right here from the Lafayette community. And of course, I know the president. I say I know. I've been in his company a few times. And lately, he's been in the ring presenting the belts and all that himself. Dana White.
Dana White, right.
That's a new role for him. I don't know just when it started, but I started noticing it recently when I get to watch it.
I've seen him in there quite a few times.
On Saturday nights. So he does a great job. It's a big money maker, but it gives these people from all over the world an opportunity to come and entertain people around the world, for that matter. And LSU kind of, they admit to not paying quite enough attention to East Michigan football team, and while they won the game 44-22, at one point even in the third quarter, it was only a difference of 1 touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. But they have a secret weapon, LSU does this year, and of course we're speaking of Mr. Fournette from the New Orleans area. He is just something. He gained 233 yards during the game.
Wow.
And didn't play very much in the fourth quarter. And I'd imagine that coach is keeping that record of, he needs to run about, I think, about 251 yards to break a school record, LSU record. And the announcer said they probably, Coach Les Miles is probably holding that back in one of the close games to make him really have to hustle to make that 250 yards. So anyhow, good to see that they won that game. And of course, throughout the state of Louisiana, certainly most people pull for the Saints, and they were not doing too well. But Sunday night, they came through in an overtime victory, and it was also a big pass reception for Drew Brees, the quarterback. It was his 400th pass for completion for touchdowns. He gets into another stage of breaking records. And good to see that the Saints hopefully are back on their winning ways. And we need to make sure that our local teams do well. It's good for the economy, and it's good for the community. And the faithful community of the Lawtell, Mallet area met this past weekend, and faithful remember the African priest who touched many, many lives, Father Dennis. And I got to know Father Dennis when we were doing the funeral services for little Jean Labbe. So we certainly know that that community has lost a good priest.
Absolutely.
He was murdered, by the way, in his home country. The closing prayer. Lord Jesus, we know that you can speak the words of eternal life and healing to people in great need. We bring them to you in prayer today. Praying for others is a privilege and a responsibility. Never looked at it like that, but we've always believed in praying on this program. For 40 years, we've been, probably had a show that we didn't ask for prayers. And we ask for prayers now, and I say thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dylan, for the wonderful job y'all do to help me along with the Bobby Dupre Show, and hope that you all enjoyed our program.